Good morning. So today I will continue with exercise 7.2. So I'll start with question number 2. You read in your exercise. The question number 2 is find the coordinates of the point of trisection of the line segment joining 4, -1 and -2 and -3. So here you just give a look. I have drawn the figure and solution. I will be discussing with you of this question. This is point A. This is point B. So join of AB, I have marked here 2 points P and Q, which divides this AB in 3 equal parts. That is your AP first, PQ second, and QB third. So then the line is trisected by the 2 points P and Q. Now look at this. Chords of A and B are given 4, -1 and -2 and -3. So chord of P I have taken N and M, and chord of Q I have taken X and Y, which we have to find. Now you have two ways. You can take the ratio either in terms of AP is to PB or AQ is to QB, as I have taken here. So both the options are there, but your ratio definitely will be getting divided in the ratio of 2:1 in both the ways. Either you take 1:2 or 2:1. Will not make the difference in your answer anywhere. So I am taking in 2:1 so that I can apply the section formula to find the chords of Q first. And chord of Q I have taken X and Y. So now to get this X and Y, we are back to question number 1, where directly I can apply the distance your section formula. That is x is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 upon m1 plus m2. And y is equal to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 upon m1 plus m2. So in that way you write the section formula, substitute the values of your x1, x2, m1, m2 in both x and y equations to get the value of x as well as of y. So that you can mark here very clearly. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. Substitute these values here, you will be reaching x is equal to 0 and y is equal to -7 upon 3. So your chord of Q will be 0 and -7 upon 3. X chord is 0 and y chord is -7 upon 3. So do this calculation by applying the section formula first. Now come back to get the chord of P. Either you have the option 1:2 you can use, but I am going to introduce a new thing to your knowledge. You know when this is trisected, so now AP is equal to PQ. That means P is the midpoint. How I can convert this section formula into midpoint formula? So look at this. In case of midpoint, we can use section formula as a midpoint formula also, because now I know this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2, and P here is the midpoint. So if the chords of P are x and y, one option is the section formula. But if P is the midpoint, only in one case it can be the midpoint. You remember, if your A, P and Q are collinear, only then you can call the point P as the midpoint, otherwise not. Otherwise that point, if it is lying on the perpendicular bisector, is equidistant. Equidistant all the time does not means is the midpoint. Midpoint's possibilities only and only in case of all 3 collinears is there. So here the points are taken are collinear, so I can use the midpoint. What is this midpoint? As you are using x1 from here and x2 from here, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 will give you the chord x. No doubt it is a section formula. Why? M1 and M2. Now ratio will be equal. M1 and M2. M1 is also 1 and M2 is also 1, as P is the midpoint. So if I am replacing that M1 and M2 as 1 and 1, so x2 into 1 will make it x2 and 1 into x1 will make it x1. So that will be x1 plus x2, 1 plus 1 is will be equal to 2. And similarly in case of y, it will be y1 plus y2 is equal to 2. That's why section formula in case of midpoint I can write as the midpoint formula. So we know that P is now the midpoint of this AQ. So L I have taken here. So x1 is 4. Now you have the chords here. That is 0 and -7 upon 3. So 0 and -7 upon 3 are the chords. So x1 plus x2, that means 4 plus 0 upon 2. So chord will be 2. And in case of m, y1 that is minus 1 and y2 is minus 7 upon 3. So minus 1 plus minus 7 upon 3 means minus 1 minus 7 upon 3, that is minus 10 upon 3. So we will do the calculation, that will come somewhere minus 5 upon 3. So the chords of P will be equal to what? 2 comma minus 5 upon 3. So in that way you can find the chords of P and Q if P and Q are trisecting the join of A and B. Now this is all about your question number 2. Let us see your question number 3. Now in question number 3, to conduct sports day activity in your rectangular shaped school ground, ABCD line have been drawn with the chalk powder at a distance of 1 meter each. That is 100 flower pots have been placed at a distance of 1 meter from each other along AD. You can go to the figure that is given in your textbook. So the distance means scale calibration. 1 unit is equal to 100. 100 meter you can take along y-axis and 1 centimeter long x-axis is your 1 lung. So in that way the situation given to you is these flower pots are at distance of 1 meter. So as shown in the figure, Niharika runs 1/4 of the distance AD on the second line and posts a green flag. So I have written here, let the position of the green flag is marked by a point G. So chords of G, what are the chords of G? You read along the x-axis she is running in the second line. So second means horizontally I have to read 2. So 2 is the x chord and vertically she is covering 1/4 of the distance along AD. So 1/4 into 100, because up to 100 flower pots 100 meter will be covered only. So this will be 2 and 25. Then the another girl is there, that is in 3 runs 1/5 of the distance in the 8th line and posts a red flag. So let the position of the red flag is marked by R. So she is running in the 8th row. So horizontally that is there. So on the x-axis that is 8. And along the y-axis 100 means 1/5 of 100, that is equal to 20. So position of your red flag if is marked by R, so chords of R will be what? 8 and 20. So 2 and 25 and 8 and 20. So then you need to determine the distance between G and R, that between these two flags. So apply the distance formula. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 whole square under the root. So in that way you will be getting under root 61. So that is the distance between the two flags, green and red. Now the third girl is there. She is running and you have to find the position of the blue flag posted by this girl exactly at the midpoint of this red and green flag. So if R is denoting the position of red and G is denoting the position of green, so B is the position I have marked over here, that is denoted by the blue flag. Let the chords of blue are X and Y, that is the position of the blue flag, as it is given that this is lying exactly between R and G, so I can use again R, B and G are the collinear points. So x I can use x1 plus x2 means 8 plus 2 upon 2, that is 5, and your y is y1 plus y2, 20 plus 25 upon 2, 45 upon 2. So position of the blue flag will be 5 and 45 upon 2. So in that way we can find the position of all these three flags and the distance between the first two, that is your green as well as red. Now let us proceed to your next question. Question number 5 is related to determine the ratio. A simple question, already I have discussed with you how to determine the ratio. That was question number 4. So here the question is, in question number 5, find the ratio in which the line segment A 1 minus 5, parts of A are given 1 and minus 5, B are also given minus 4 and 5, is divided by the x-axis. In previous question it was given divided by the point and the chords were given. Now the point is lying on the x-axis. So I have assumed that the point on the x-axis is P. So it was very clear to me in class 9. I got it. If the point is lying on the x-axis, then y chord is always equal to 0. So that out of the box thinking you need to apply over here and write that y chord is always equal to 0 on the x-axis. So position of this P somewhere, x I need to determine, y on the x-axis is always 0. So I will be writing the chord of P as x comma 0. So as already I have discussed with you, we can reduce it in place of two variables to 1. So let the ratio be k ratio 1. So if the ratio is k ratio 1, so your x chord will be equal to what? Kx1 plus x2 into 1 because k ratio 1. So upon k plus 1. And then y ky1 plus y2 into again 1 upon k plus 1. Now x is not given, that I have to determine here. So first of all I have to determine the ratio. So y is given to me, so directly I will avoid this equation. As I don't know x, otherwise first of all I have to determine x by using the distance formula just to save my time. If it is not the part of your question, you need not to calculate x, directly you can calculate the ratio by using this. So you can save your time from the time management point of view. So use this one and get the value of k by putting the value of your y1, y2, and thus point y is already equal to 0. By cross multiplying, this will become 0 and equation will be minus 5k plus 5 is equal to 0. So it makes 5k is equal to 5, so k is equal to 1. So required ratio will be equal to what? 1 ratio 1. So if he is asking find the x chord also, so you are free to apply the section formula. As you have calculated the ratio 1 means he is the midpoint, then you can use the midpoint formula also, that is there in your hands. So in both the ways you can calculate the value of x also. So that's all about your question number 5. So this was the question, conditional given the point is lying on the x-axis, how to determine the ratio. So please keep a check upon your question number 4 and 5 and try to realize the difference between the two. And then question number 6 is there, that is picked up from your geometry. That is, you are given with 4 vertices A, B, C, D, and these are given in order. So either you move clockwise or anti-clockwise, but you need to follow the order, and are the vertices of a parallelogram. So there are the chords which are missing here. Here you see in B y chord is not given, and in C x is missing. So I need to calculate these values of x and y. So to get this value of x and y, you have two options now. You can use the distance formula also, but why the question is given in your this exercise of section formula? Why it was not the part of your distance formula? So means something I can use from the section formula here. Otherwise, in case of distance formula, you know all in a parallelogram opposite sides are equal. So either use AD is equal to BC. You will be getting one equation in terms of x and y. And then you use AB is equal to CD, you will be getting another equation in terms of x and y. And then by using those equations simultaneously, you can solve the linear equation in two variables to get the value of x and y. And see the time consumed then in that way. So when the question is given there in section formula, I have to give always a second thought. Means some advantage I can take from this formula. But before that, what you have to do, you just think about the another properties. If I join the diagonals, what happens? I know that diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. So if I have joined A with C and B with D, I am getting O. So what does it mean? I have written, we know that diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other. So if O is the midpoint, means here AO will be equal to OC. So O is the midpoint of AC as well as O is the midpoint of BD also. So that I have drawn here. AC, now O is the midpoint. DB, O is again the midpoint. I am given with the chord of A12, C, X6, I need to calculate this X. And chord of O in both the cases will be common. That is the point to be understood over here to get the value of X and Y. So chord of O, M and N, here also and here also. I hope you do understand what I want to say. Why this is M and N? Because this is line common for both. So when we will be applying the midpoint formula as x1 plus x2 upon 2. So x1 1, x2 x. 1 plus x upon 2 is equal to m. So then here it is m is equal to what? x1 plus x2 means 3 plus 4 upon 2, that is 7 upon 2. Now this is also the value of m and this is also the value of m. If you will be calculating the 2 means equating the 2. So from 1 and 2 I can write 1 plus x upon 2 is equal to 7 upon 2. And that will help you to get the value of x is equal to 6. Similarly, you go for the value of y. So in case of n, it will be 2 plus 6 upon 2, and here it will be 5 plus y upon 2, and equate the 2 to get the value of y, that will be equal to 3. So x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 3 will be the answer for this. So these 4 questions are solved for you. Now we are left with last 3 or 4 questions of this exercise that I will be sending to you in next recording from the same chapter, and that will be the last part of our this section formula. So hopefully I will be back to you by tomorrow with the next part of this exercise. Till then, please practice hard with these questions, and assignment also I will be sending to you. Thank you. Have a nice time.